Mobile classrooms had been set up on campus for grades 4 and 5, and an additional class was being added for each grade because of the influx of residents. She'd been teaching kindergarten for 3 years and had been the only kindergarten teacher for that entire time. Now there was going to be a second kindergarten class, which meant a new teacher, a new partner, and she was excited about all the possibilities. She'd met Kimberly Fairmont on a Zoom call, and they had a lot in common. They had already started talking about joint projects and new curriculums, and Chloe actually found herself looking forward to going back to work. But I'd also been looking forward to spending time with a nice guy. A nice guy who found her to be too boring, too sheltered, and too committed to her small town. Again, it wasn't anything new. Chloe had always been the quiet Donovan, the shy Donovan, the boring Donovan. Maybe no one said it to her face, but she knew they were all thinking it. At least, no one until Evan. "We're just too different," he'd said. "You have to admit that we don't have much in common. Every time I try to convince you to come to Baltimore, you're not interested. There's nothing to do in Sweetbriar. Things are growing, but there's no real culture. I don't understand why you don't want to broaden your horizons, but I need more. I'm sorry." The conversation had been brief and mildly crushing, but he was right, and as much as he said he needed more, so did she. She wanted someone who shared her passion for the simple things in life, and who didn't feel like they had to be on a constant adventure to be happy. So far, she hadn't met anyone like that. Her sister, her fraternal twin, Ashlyn, had a wonderful fiancé, a new hair salon of her very own, and was constantly out doing fabulous things. Her brother Levi recently married Jade and was in the process of adopting her son Silas. And her big sister Billy was living her dream of baking. She'd left the stress-filled world of finance and bravely moved on to something she was passionate about, and she didn't care that she had to take a major pay cut to do it. Actually, all 3 of her siblings had gone through major career crises and boldly moved on to bigger and better things. And I'm still gluing popsicle sticks together and finger painting. Okay, that was the last negative comment she was going to make about herself today. Just because her family was busy didn't mean she had to sit around feeling sorry for herself. There were plenty of things she could do, even by herself, that would put her in a better mood than she was currently in. Standing, she walked over to the massive window in her living room and looked out. There was a small park directly across the street, and right now, a couple of families were over there laughing and playing and having fun. Moving into the renovated Craftsman bungalow had been a major thing for her last month because she was tired of apartment living. She was only renting it, but was working on her finances to figure out a way to eventually buy it. Technically, she could get approved for a mortgage thanks to the teacher home loan program, but she didn't want to just make enough to cover her monthly payments. She wanted to be able to actually live and enjoy her life, too. "Baby steps," she said with another sigh, thinking of her little side hustle. Art was something she'd always been good at, and lately she'd been creating paintings that she sold in an Etsy shop, as well as custom costumes for cosplay. She didn't tell anyone about it, not even her family, but that was only because she knew they'd encourage her and tell her everything was great, and while that was one of the things she loved most about them, their unwavering support, sometimes she wanted to try something on her own and test the waters first. So far, she hadn't put a whole lot of stuff out there, but maybe if she upped her inventory in her online shop, she could buy her house sooner rather than later. Inspiration hit, and she made her way to the smaller of her 2 guest rooms that she turned into a craft room and began rummaging through her supplies in search of inspiration. 30 minutes later, Chloe decided on her theme for her classroom this year, Pixar's Inside Out.